He'll be back in the closet.
I think I have solidified myself as the local bandwagon Marquette fan. If I say I'm going to be a fan of a team and I'm a bandwagon fan, I'm not just talking like that. I have consistently been a bandwagon Marquette fan since they made the tournament run back in 2003 with Dwayne Wade. I've been very consistent.
Consistently bandwagon has to be an oxymoron amongst all like jumbo shrimp, like all that kind of thing. I mean, consistently bandwagon.
Everyone loves that fan, right?
I'll give you credit.
Everyone loves a consistent bandwagon.
Look at me. Whatever bandwagon fans
So give me a second here, Kyle, because Kyle was yelling and screaming after he went to the Milwaukee Bucks game, not yesterday, but the day before.
Tuesday night, awful fans, awful Lakers fans.
And so we were having a discussion around the worst fan bases in sports, and we talked about Cowboys fans. We talked about Lakers fans. We talked about Cubs fans. We talked about a lot, and then a lot of people chimed in with theirs. Kyle calling himself a consistent bandwagon fan might be worse than being an actual annoying fan of one of those fan bases. You have topped being an annoying Lakers fan by just being yourself.
No, not at all. What's wrong with me supporting the hometown team? They play in the 4-1-4.
800-990-3776, 800-990-ESPN is the ESPN Wisconsin Talk and Text line. A lot to get to today because there's news galore. I mean, it's opening day in baseball. The Milwaukee Brewers were rained out in New York.
Is it raining in New York? Can we confirm?
Probably, but besides the point. This is a quick tangent for 1 minute or even less. Why the hell does the MLB not put an opening day game in Milwaukee? There is a roof here. There is a damn roof here. You want baseball to be played on opening day? I got 110% guarantee that they can play an opening day baseball game in Milwaukee at American Family Field. Rant over. Other news, Mark Murphy speaking to the media. He's getting in fights with the city of Green Bay. We have Mark Murphy talking about Jordan Love. We got Coach Gard confirmed coming back as the head coach of the Badgers for his 10th season. We have Marquette going to the Sweet 16 and playing tomorrow night against NC State. But we have skipped over a lot of what Mark Murphy has talked about with the Green Bay Packers, and we'll get to him next. But first, being here at Potawatomi Sportsbook and Rockin' Brews, I went over and I looked at this out of curiosity of how much has changed from year to year on these season-long win totals. And it's a fun way to look at it heading into the season on what smart people in those sports books are projecting your teams to do. The Green Bay Packers right now have an over-under for wins next year in a 17-game season at 9.5. That is up 2 games from last year in which they were win total of 7.5 wins. So clearly, respect, right? Jordan Love and Matt LaFleur garnered some respect to move that line up, and you have to lay a little bit more juice on that over because it's more likely that it's going to happen based off the odds right now. The Detroit Lions, who were not favored, I'm trying to think back. The Vikings, I think, might have been favored before the season. Then it was Detroit, and then it was the Bears and Packers up the rear. And then when you look at Detroit this year, they're over-under for a lowly Detroit Lions franchise that Kyle screams about is 10.5 wins. But that's not it. That's not it, folks. The guy who ran out with the American flag, what was supposed to be symbolic of a new era at Green Bay East out in New York, the New York Jets have the same over-under as the Green Bay Packers at 9.5 wins. Now, a lot of people, there's more juice on the under on that one for obvious reasons if you happen to read anything that happened to do with the internal turmoil of that organization. But
what a surprise. Aaron Rodgers in turmoil.
But that being said, we always talk about Aaron Rodgers being one of the greatest regular season quarterbacks of all time, and he usually will get you 10 wins. And so I think it's fair to bring it into the conversation. Which of those over-unders are you more confident in? Let's get that on Twitter at KBN ESPN. The Packers over 9.5 wins, the Jets over 9.5 wins, or the Detroit Lions over 10.5 wins. We start with the former NFL alum himself, live from Potawatomi Casino Hotel Rockin' Brews, 800-990-3776 on YouTube at ESPN Milwaukee, at ESPN Madison. Brad, what say you?
There are 2 that I'm tantalized with. The Green Bay Packers at 9.5 and the New York Jets at 9.5. Now, I talked about how good the Lions are, and I do think they're good. I think they're more likely to win the division. But to win 11 games, that's a big ask and to put actually money down on it. So I look at the Packers at 9.5, the Jets at 9.5. To me, I both think they're going to do it, by the way. But if I'm going to put money on it, I'm going to put it on the New York Jets, and here's why.
Wow.
Here's why.
Wow.
Yep, I think the Packers will do 9.5, by the way, for the record. However, the Jets won 7 games, and it was the messiest season that I can think of in recent memory, with their starting quarterback playing 4 plays, their backup quarterback,
Tim Boyle,
and Zach Wilson, playing some of the worst quarterback we've seen, also of recent memory.
Tim Boyle.
That's true. But that was under the impression that Rodgers was actually going to play all year. And we clearly saw Breece Hall, we saw Garrett Wilson, we saw plenty of guys out there have playmaking abilities. The one thing that was a liability for them was offensive line. They took steps to shore that up with signing Tyron Smith, who's one of the best offensive tackles in the league. You know they're going to lean into that during the draft as well. So I look at the New York Jets and I say they still have a very, very good defense, a top 10 defense. They've got perimeter players. I just think the big question to me, offensive line and Aaron Rodgers. I think their offensive line, it got better. They're probably average at this point. They were horrible last year. And will Aaron Rodgers come back healthy? I think he will. And you said it, Ben. He's one of the best regular season quarterbacks of all time. He can still sling it. What do we know when Aaron Rodgers has a chip on his shoulder? He comes back like a man that is possessed.
We said that last year, though. And Father Time got his Achilles.
Yeah, but that's not necessarily fair. I would say that's at least half freak injury.
But I'm going to counter Brad here for a second when it comes to him picking the Jets over the Packers and the Lions over-under. You have to, and you're an investment guy. He talked about, when we talked about the Packers lease, he talked about, in my former finance job, what do you do, Kyle? He assessed risk. Mm-hmm. And I think Brad, who I think is a smart guy, left out the fact that Aaron Rodgers is 40-ish. And if I'm putting money on a team, I want something that's more reliable than an old guy who was rumored to run for vice president with Robert F. Kennedy, a guy who, look, if it doesn't go his way, we saw what the results were for the Jets. They didn't build an offense that was for Zach Wilson or Tim Boyle. They couldn't do anything because Aaron Rodgers basically orchestrated the whole thing, and that's what it felt like at times under the Matt LaFleur offense with Aaron Rodgers. Now, there was some cohesion there. They did work well together, but Aaron did some things where he would just target Devontae Adams at times, and when it doesn't go his way, there is risk when it comes to Aaron Rodgers at this age.
There's risk, but there's no doubt he's still elite. I think the Jets are giving him his way. So I think he's going to be less likely to throw a tantrum like he did here in Green Bay. And I just think that team went 7-10 with utter calamity, chaos, and insanity around it in every way, both inside the locker room and on the playing field. So to me, if they can gain any sort of stability and Aaron Rodgers come back to even be 80% of what he normally is, I see them winning 10 games.
Packer backer Kyle Wallace next up to give us his selection. Lions over 10.5, Jets over 9.5, or Packers over 9.5. What do you got, Kyle? Because I know what the fans are doing here.
Now, I can't believe we just spent 6 minutes talking about the New York Jets and Aaron Rodgers.
Is Brad on the beat for them?
Listen, KBN Nation, I will not disrespect you like Bradley Nortman did. He has forgotten his roots. I am not going to sit here and tell you why the Jets are going to be over. I'm going to tell you why the Green Bay Packers are the biggest guarantee to go over 9.5 games next year. This is easy. This is easy money. I'm going to take out my wallet, and I'm going to bet on that one. You know why? It's because what they understand is that they understand that the Green Bay Packers last year already won 9 games, right? And in this year coming in, the Green Bay Packers are only going to be taking a step forward in the right direction. And when you look at last year's season, the Packers started 2-5, and they were playing their best football down the way. But I must remind you all, the Green Bay Packers had a 1-point loss to Atlanta early, a 1-point loss to Las Vegas Raiders early. They had a 4-point loss in Pittsburgh early on as well. Pittsburgh as well. And the Green Bay Packers also had a 2-point loss in Denver. All of those games, had the Packers played them after Week 10, would have probably been victories for the Green Bay Packers. For what Vegas sees, they see a team trending in the right direction. They see a quarterback becoming a superstar, and they know this team is going to have an easy way next year over 9.5. That's easy money. The Green Bay Packers are for sure the easiest lock to win over 9.5 games, even more than the New York Jets. That is easy money.
Well, I mean, the odds say that you have to lay a little bit more juice for the Packers because
it's
more likely that they go over, and Kyle's saying it's worth it. And I think it's funny that he wants to talk this big game because he says easy money, right? there's an opportunity for Kyle to put his money where his big mouth is. There is an ATM here. I actually have some cash if you don't want an ATM fee. I can give you however much money you want to actually put your money where your mouth is and put it over 9.5 wins for the Green Bay Packers.
Listen, I got money to spend. You know what? I got you.
Oh, yeah. What happened?
How much you throwing down?
Cheap Kyle all of a sudden's got money to throw?
Is that how confident you are?
I'm an investment guy, right? So I like to invest in safe bets. So I like to invest in things that I know is going to make me money. So, I have high-yield savings account because I know my money is going to be good. The Green Bay Packers are like a high-yield savings account for me this year. I put money down. I know I'm going to win it because 9.5, that is easy money. It should be higher than that. It should be a minimum 10.5.
So who knows? With how much money Kyle has, I think the odds right now are minus 120 on over 9.5 for the Green Bay Packers. Big money Kyle might send the juice up to minus 130 for over 9.5.
But that's exactly what got me thinking, because I thought the Packers line was going to be higher, right? And it is one of the reasons why I said before my New York Jets ran, I think the Packers do go over 9.5. But it makes me think, what does Vegas, what does Potawatomi know that we don't know about the Green Bay Packers? I feel like there are hidden risks there that we're not necessarily seeing. Is there any chance that there's a sophomore slump with Jordan Love? Is there any chance that the defense takes a little bit longer to get going than it does earlier on? Is there any chance that nobody takes a step forward when it comes to these playmakers? So there are hidden risks there. I think there's expectations embedded into this team that are pretty big expectations.
When have the Green Bay Packers never taken a step forward when people expected them to do that? I'm serious. The Green Bay Packers, when they get a new starting quarterback, every single time in the last 30 years, you get Brett Favre plays well, what happened? That team starts trending in the right direction. Aaron Rodgers, first season, 6-10. They saw.
I hear you, but I don't like when you point at the past. I want you to point at this is this team. This isn't about the past. I understand the organization has obviously been able to get the quarterback position right, but you have a new defensive coordinator. The defense, they fired Joe Barry, right? Rich Bisaccia has been a liability at $2 million plus a year as a special teams coordinator. We're going to get to all this and more. We have a 3-hour show where Kyle Brust-Nortman across ESPN Wisconsin, Ben Brust, Kyle Wallace, Brad Nortman live from Rock and Brews at Potawatomi Sportsbook, and I love it. Rock and Brews, 20 TVs. The games will be up. We got music videos right now, but guess what? Tip time comes, you got specials. They got pretzel bites. They got cheeseburger rolls, wings, pizzas, the Oklahoma Smash Burger, ooh, baby, plus pitchers of Budweiser, Bud Light, and Michelob Ultra for $15. Come to Potawatomi Casino Hotel, live from Rock and Brews. You're listening to Kyle Brust-Nortman. Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to Kyle Brust-Nortman, KBN.
Craig Counsell bobblehead that was given away, and we, just did a nice, soliloquy. Is that the right word?
Yeah, like a montage.
Like a Virgil.
Vigil?
Vigil. A vigil. We did a vigil.
On ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Make it a real Mad March with a playoff payout at Potawatomi. Every week you could score your share of $100,000 in cash and free play. Play this March for drawing entries. Win each Thursday. Plus, the prizes refresh every week for even more winners. The playoff payout at Potawatomi, Milwaukee. It's anyone's game. For more details, visit paysbig.com/payout. Must be 21 and a club member to play.
You can drive cutting-edge design. 2024 Audis are on the lot and ready for delivery. You can save $7,500 on select Audi EVs with the AFS EV lease bonus. See dealer for details and exclusions. Eligibility is subject to credit approval through Audi Financial Services. Cannot be combined with national customer credit. Offer expires April 1st, 2024. Stop in and test drive today. Check out our website to see our current electric vehicle inventory and our monthly specials. The search for your Audi begins and ends at Zimbrick Audi of Madison, off the Beltline and Rimrock Road. Drive yours today.
Ben Brust here from Kyle Brust-Nortman and tell you about the newest spike tee on the market, and that is Hoop Tee. And when I mean that it's the newest and best, it was born on the boardwalk of Ocean City, Maryland, and enjoyed now right here in Madison, Wisconsin. With flavors like an original spike tee. You have peach, you have mango, you have watermelon. Hoop Tee will make you feeling great with whatever flavor fits your profile. Hoop Tee. Enjoy the hoops on the screen and hoops in your hand. HoopTee.com. Must be 21 years or older to enjoy.
Experience, knowledge, and results. That's what really matters when you need help after a serious truck accident. You'll need a lawyer experienced in fighting and winning for people just like you. Gruber Law Offices has the resources, strong track record of success, and a team of experienced lawyers to take care of your needs. We've successfully helped people injured in big truck accidents for more than 35 years. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Mark Tauscher here for Chalmers Jewelers. I've been a big fan of Scott and Garrett and the whole team at Chalmers Jewelers for years now. I go there, my friends go there, and most importantly, my wife loves it whenever I get her something from Chalmers Jewelers. What's right around the corner? Mother's Day. Show some love to the incredible women in your life and stop at Chalmers Jewelers, the place to go for that perfect gift. I recommend Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton and Madison.
Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton
and Madison.
I am a team lead at Stone Trailer. I've been here for 10 years, with perfect attendance. A couple of things that I like to do around here on extra is the safety committee. It's one of these things that helps our people. Me and my wife are traveling. We kind of look for all the Stoughton trailers that we can see. It's kind of exciting showing her what I do for a career. My name is Rich, and I am proud to be a part of Stoughton Trailers.
Stoughton Trailers, big opportunity.
There's a good chance if you watch sports, you're getting served information about hormone optimization. What does that even mean? Dr. Nestor Rodriguez at Carbon World Health can tell you exactly what hormone optimization means. He will take your blood work and let you know if it's right for you. If you're feeling sluggish, not losing weight like you used to, you're not gaining muscle like you used to, or you just don't feel like yourself in most aspects of your life, go see Dr. Nestor Rodriguez at Carbon World Health. In fact, sign up for the 6-week experience so you can see everything that Carbon World Health has to offer, including hormone optimization. Learn more at carbonworldhealth.com.
Hi, I'm Madison Money Guy, Christian Finfrock with Retirement Income Strategies. And what sets us apart is we're an independent, family-run office. We help clients like you understand the financial world and build a portfolio that's in your best interest. To learn more, go to MadisonMoneyGuy.com.
For official rules and more information about every contest on 100.5 ESPN, visit ESPNWisconsinContests.com. That's ESPNWisconsinContests.com. You're listening to 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN app.
This is Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, sponsored by Bud Light on ESPN Wisconsin and Wisconsin On Demand.
Nothing breaks like a
Nothing breaks like a
On Twitter at KBN ESPN, which NFL preseason over win total per Potawatomi Sportsbook do you have the most confidence in? Now this is fascinating because I understand the conversation around Aaron Rodgers. Packers over 9.5, 84.2%. And I'd be curious. I really would be curious as a hometown sportsbook, right? Like they know they're going to get a ton of action on the overs for their team. Whew. They're going to be holding a lot of Packers tickets. Like, do the people who are probably Packer fans but also have a business to run here thinking 9 wins and making the playoffs is good?
See, and that's where I think these lines they're smart lines, right? I mean, there should be a little bit of pause whenever making these kind of thoughts because Potawatomi is very smart. They know how to do it. I do think the Packers will go over. But we talk about like investments, right? The Packers, we have high expectations of them, right? The Jets are just the opposite. We have very low expectations of them. I mean, they had nothing but chaos and terrible quarterback play last year.
Buy the rumor, sell the news?
Exactly. I think that they are so devalued right now that you can get a little bit of a bargain and catch them on the upswing. And what do we know? Aaron Rodgers, motivated by spite. So I think he's got one good to very good year left in him. After that, I think he's washed.
800-990-ESPN, 800-990-3776. I love the reaction from KBN Nation. Ezra in Port Washington. Kyle equals the most fair weather fan I've ever seen.
Wait a minute.
That must have been the Marquette conversation.
It must have been about Marquette.
Yeah, it was.
But it was worthy. It was a worthy comment.
It was a worthy comment. The reason why no one is transferring out of Marquette is because they don't have grads. They don't have the grades to make it a big boy university, so they're coming at your former employer, Kyle.
Let me tell you.
Prestigious,
average GPA was like a 3.8 GPA for the admitted students there. Don't play with me. Do not play with me. I admit some really smart kids.
David chimes in. As of right now, the better likelihood is Green Bay to hit the over, but it depends on the defense, which is a big question mark. And again, I think this is all part of the conversation. I think when you look at a team total, you think offense, right? It's like everyone in their mind goes, we have Jordan Love, we have Matt LaFleur. Which part of me, if I look at this and I'm being honest, and I'll give you my answer in a second, Matt LaFleur won 13 games his first 3 years as the head coach.
Yes.
Then he won 8, and then he won 9. So I think it's a fair over-under because so far, the last 2 seasons, this is where he's been around with the transition out of Aaron Rodgers. And now they are on the ascend, but there are some pieces like the defense and special teams that are still question marks. And it's a lot to ask of Jordan Love to play at the same level that he did for 10 games right away. I think he's capable of that. But Kyle, can you just admit this? We all are in agreement that what he did was special, right?
Yeah.
20 touchdowns, 1 interception. If he could do that for an entire season, we would put him in the Pro Football Hall of Fame
He's
right
MVP.
now. Right? MVP.
You don't
And then
need
it's
him
13 wins.
You
You don't need him?
You don't need him to play at that high a level. I'm saying just playing at a high level in general is the expectation. Yes, he's not going to play like
play at that high of a level to propel them to 9 wins.
Because the team was a building team last year. They needed leadership at that quarterback position because they had a defense that they could not trust.
Now, how do we know they have a defense that they can trust? How do we know the special teams is going to be better?
Here's
'Cause
my
they
part with
haven't
the
been.
defense. Thinking about what Wisconsin Badger football, one of the reasons why the defense was so bad last year is because you had personnel for one scheme, you had another guy running another scheme. The personnel didn't fit. That usually takes years to be able to iron out. I just wonder, does the personnel of the Green Bay Packers fit this new scheme of Coach Jeff Hafley? Now, we know Xavier McKinney is a great fit for safety, but what about D-line? What about linebackers? Like, do we know that this personnel fits his scheme? That might take a minute.
I think the Green Bay Packers, as an organization, evaluated who they were hiring in the transition. They weren't just going to make a wholesale transition knowing exactly where this team was going and sit here and risk this defense potentially continuing to be a even worse Achilles heel than what it was previously. So I think when they hired Jeff Hafley, they evaluate the talent on their team. They've even talked about they're going to play a lot of nickel. That's why they value bringing back Keyshawn Nixon, because they knew they were going to have him on the field a lot next season. So the Green Bay Packers knew exactly what they were doing, and they knew they had the horses in-house in order for the defense to not only just be as okay as it was last year, but take steps in the right direction. Watch that defense improve over next season.
800-990-3776. This is, I would say, the contrary opinion to the Kyle Wallace. And I think it's a good point for you to chew on, right? John chimes in the 414. What Vegas and Pato know is Love is still unproven. And this is his opinion. You don't get to shake your head already. He had a half a decent season. I'd say a half of a great season, if we're being honest. He's a system QB with decision issues and less than a stellar arm strength. Hopefully I will be proven wrong, but until I see him play a full season at a high level, that's what people in Vegas are thinking. And I think there's validity to that, but it's somewhere in the middle. I think that there is an element of he played so well for 10 straight games. You can't ask somebody to play at that high of a level. You do have a ton of young talent, and I think Matt LaFleur is a great coach, but there's 3 phases of the game. We don't know what the defense is going to look like. You added Xavier McKinney, but Xavier McKinney he isn't Reggie White. He's a great safety in what Jeff Hafley wants. But these great championship teams, these great playoff teams have 4 to 6 defensive linemen that they rotate in, and the field of the play doesn't regress. And that's the depth that they need to build up on the defensive line. They still don't even have a starting linebacker next to McDuffie and Quay Walker. And so there's a lot to be figured out from this team. I think 9.5 is fair, but Brad, you made the argument a while back, and I know that the 10.5 is rich, and you actually get plus money on the Lions winning over 10.5 games. I don't think Dan Campbell's the best coach in the world, but what I do know is I trust what they've shown me consistently over 3 years as a group. I think the Packers have a chance to show that this year, and then the next year, boom, be the 10.5, 11 win type over-under. But it's not about, I think Jared Goff's better than Jordan Love. He's clearly not. I would take Jordan Love in a heartbeat. But what I do know is they have 2 great running backs. They have a 1,500-yard wide receiver in Amon-Ra St. Brown. They have what was the best tight end as a rookie last year in Sam Laporta, and an offensive line that has an identity. A defense that is not great, but they were able to at least keep them in ball games and get to the NFC Championship game. So right now, with what I know, because there are unknowns with the Packers, if I'm placing a bet, I'm placing to get 11 wins with the Lions because I'm going to get plus money on the return of them getting 11 wins.
Well, and here's what I'll add about the Detroit Lions. We did talk last week how I do believe that they should be the favorite for the division. It's going to be a tall task for this young Green Bay Packer team to totally knock them off the map, and here's why. It's one thing to have success. for a half a season, right? It's another thing to have sustained success. The NFL season, it's a long season. There are legitimate seasons within a season. We saw that with the Green Bay Packers, right? Hot start, a lull during the middle of it. You come back and have some big wins, a couple of hiccups. There are seasons within a season. So it's one thing to play well and to win NFL football games. It's another thing to do it over a sustained, long period of time. And we've proven that we know that the Detroit Lions can do that. They won 12 games last year. You can endure a whole season and get you to 12 wins. So they've proven that they can do it. That makes me a little bit more comfortable as where the
KBN Nation continues to chime in here, believing in the Packers over 9.5. 85% of people think of the three, the Lions over 10.5, the Jets over 9.5, and the Packers over 9.5. 85 believe in the Packers. 3% are on Brad's investment of the New York Jets.
It's a bargain.
9.5. More than a bargain.
It's a bargain.
It's a sell-off right now for the New York Jets.
Sounds like a garbage stock. That's what it
I'll
sounds
still
like.
take them. I'll hit the low.
Sometimes those garbage stocks end up popping.
That's right.
If you get them at the right price, you might get a good investment back.
And see, I love that KBN Nation on Twitter understands exactly where we're going and the direction that we're going. They saw exactly what we saw. The Green Bay Packers moved on from a legendary quarterback and got better. I want y'all to understand that. They moved on from Aaron Rodgers and actually did better the following season. Jordan Love played with guys that Aaron Rodgers didn't want to play with. He played with young, inexperienced guys. He played with lesser talent, and he got the most out of them. How can we understand when you get a second season of working with each other, building cohesiveness, practicing in the offseason, that they are only going to come back stronger? They took the 49ers, who went to the Super Bowl, to the brink of knocking them out the playoffs. So this is a football team that is full of confidence, and 9.5 wins is an easy one.
All right, so at 5 o'clock, when the show ends, will you go with me over to the sports book and you start noodling on that dollar amount, but that's going to show your confidence, because I know where your range of betting is. And, Kyle said earlier he's got high-yield stocks, this and that. So
if he thinks 5.5%, baby.
If he thinks this is the high-yield bet of the year, then we'll see what kind of money he wants to put at it. 800-990-3776, live from Potawatomi Casino Hotels, Rock and Brews. We'll be at the sports book after, getting after it with the college games tonight, as well as these NFL season totals. But Brad, one thing I do know behind the bar is, they're rocking carbless around here in Potawatomi Casino Hotel.
They sure are. That's because Potawatomi knows the secret is out. I've known it for some time now. I've been telling you about it. Potawatomi sure knows how good carbless is. It has everything that I'm looking for. I'm looking to kick back, relax, and have myself an alcoholic beverage. I mean, tonight with the games on, I'm going to walk home. I might even stay here for a minute.
You're going to walk to Oconomowoc?
I might take my car. I might elect to drive. I'm a fitness guy. That might be too much. But even with the fitness part of it, I would still feel great after going home, going down to the Nortman fridge and grabbing a carbless and drinking it. That's because it has no carbs, no sugars, no gluten, less carbonation, leading to less bloat, and only 100 calories a can. So even if I walked home or I got my big workout on this morning, I would still feel good drinking a carbless. But what about the flavor, right? Man, there is no slack on flavor. All you need to do is taste it once. Everyone tells me, oh, man, after that first sip, I finally understand what you're talking about, Brad. I get it. These flavors are unbelievable. Classic cocktails like Paloma, Margarita, Moscow Mule, and the fruit flavors like cranberry, pineapple, and raspberry. They're so good. You need to taste it for yourself and finally taste what I am talking about. I want you to understand why less is more, and find them online and at retailers near you.
Coming up next on the KBN Academy, Caitlin Clark offered $5 million. The Packers brought in another kicker to go up against Kyle's guy, as he calls him, Anderson Carlson. We'll hit on all of that as professors in the KBN Academy next from Potawatomi Casino Hotel.
This is Kyle Brust and Nortman.
So they are lucky. Those other teams, whether it's Kentucky or whether it's Oregon or was it TCU?
That's TCU.
TCU, they're lucky I didn't play in that game. You got upset by a bad team, TCU.
On ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
My initials may be BB, but basketball and Bud Light, those are the two Bs that I'll be enjoying all weekend long. Make sure you enjoy the hoops that are all around us. When you're watching every single game, just know that whether you have a wager, whether you have your bracket in front of you, It will all be better, win or loss, whatever happens, if you have a Bud Light in your hand. Refreshing, smooth, Bud Light, Ben Brust, buckets, basketball, you name it, we got it. Enjoy it this weekend.
Hey, it's Alex Strofe. Stay in the know on area high school sports and follow ESPN Madison on Twitter for Prep Mania on Deck, each week's preview of the top games and events. Prep Mania on Deck is brought to you by Zimbrick Honda, a proud supporter of high school sports and local communities.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6759. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6759. That's 800-575-6759. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Condon Jewelers, the jeweler on the east side, the jeweler on your side. When you see Diamond Jim, you can count on him to be on your side. Selection beyond compare with on-site repair, so you can wear your jewelry with pride. Condon Jewelers, the jeweler on the east side, the jeweler on your side.
Ben Brust here to tell you about the Princeton Club. I joined the Princeton Club because I was looking for a place I could invest in my health, and the environment and the community I have felt has made it so easy for me to incorporate it into my everyday life. It doesn't matter where you're at in your fitness journey because they have something to offer everyone. It also goes beyond fitness. From the moment you walk in the club to the moment you walk out, there is a togetherness felt throughout the members and staff that keeps you going for your better tomorrow. Don't wait any longer and get started on your fitness journey today at PrincetonClub.net. That's PrincetonClub.net.
From the biggest plays on the court to the comments made in the locker room after, an in-depth recap of every Bucks game in 6 minutes. No more, no less. Bucks in 6 provides game recaps for every game. Hear the high-flying dunks from Giannis.
Puts it on the floor, spins down the lane, and plunges it through.
Or the deep threes from Dame.
Dame time has arrived with 107.
Bucks in 6 on the Bucks Plus Audio Network. Find it now on bucks.com/plus or on Spotify, Apple, and wherever you get your podcasts.
When you're having computer problems, you need a company you trust to get things working again, quickly and affordably. Madison Computer Works has been doing that for business and residential customers for decades. Our computer care plans take away the hassle of being without your computer or needing to bring it in for repair. Starting at only $10 a month, our local and friendly techs provide remote help and can fix most problems in just minutes. Call 608-231-8000 and sign up today. Madison Computer Works, computers that work for you.
For official rules and more information about every contest on 100.5 ESPN, visit ESPNWisconsinContests.com. That's ESPNWisconsinContests.com. You're listening to 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN app.
You're listening to Kyle Brust and Nortman on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
You'll be that girl, you'll be that girl, you'll be everything you want, so let me get
KBN Nation and fantasy sports players, listen up. I got to tell you about my favorite way to watch games by using the Underdog Fantasy Sports app, a pick'em fantasy game where you win real money and it's easy to find in your app store and even easier to use. So here's how it works. So you pick between 2 to 5 players from at least 2 different teams. You select higher or lower on those players' stats. If your picks hit, you can win up to 100 times your money. It's opening day for baseball. This is a great day to pick higher or lower and make some moolah. So right now, download the easy-to-use mobile app or visit UnderdogFantasy.com, and when you sign up, use promo code KBN. That is promo code KBN, and they will match your first deposit up to $100. Plus, they'll give you a mystery special pick to use on your first pick'em entry. Remember, that is promo code KBN, and they will match your first deposit up to $100. Get in the game with the Underdog Fantasy Sports app today. It's going to be fun. It must be 18 plus and present in the state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
Speaking of KBN, we are them. Kyle Brust and Nortman across ESPN Wisconsin, live from Potawatomi Casino Hotel's Rockin' Brews. Very excited to be here. Lots of action to get in play with the 4 Sweet 16 games of the first 4 that will be tonight, then 4 tomorrow. Man, that's sad. There's only 8 games and 4 games and 2. Oh man, we're running out of games.
We are, and I get to watch the team I got on my chest today too.
Oh my gosh!
Tomorrow.
I mean, like tomorrow,
Yeah. Like, because you know
5:09. Tip-off is 5:09. We have the pregame coverage right here on 94.5 ESPN. 6:09.
You are such a fraud. I love how much you are writing your own story.
Wait a minute. Pregame show tomorrow. For all those who want to hear about Marquette basketball, 2 to 5. 2 to, can't cut my mic without cutting yours. 2 to 5 pregame show tomorrow. And then Brian D, I believe, will start as well.
All right, shut up. KBN Academy time.
In radio, our goal's pretty simple.
Just so you know, you really suck.
Have an A show or an F show.
Hey, I'll decide who sucks around here.
The same goes for topics in this next segment. This is the KBN Academy.
Those that can't do, teach.
It is the KBN Academy as we are your professors, Professor Brust, Nortman, and Wallace. We give tough grades, A's or F's. No B's, C's, or D's, or anywhere else in between. Chris, what do you got?
All right, let's start off here. Iowa superstar Caitlin Clark has been reportedly offered $5 million by Ice Cube to join his Big 3 professional basketball league. Now, that league plays just 10 games as opposed to the WNBA, where she would get $76,000 a year to play a 40-game season. A or F, if you were her, you'd still go to the WNBA over Ice Cube's league.
Man, I'm not going to lie. I'd think twice about this one. Right now, I'm going to say F. I wouldn't go to the WNBA. I mean, $5 million is $5 million. Because here's what she can do. She can go play in the Big 3. She's going to get eyeballs anywhere. She has a following where they will watch her anywhere. And I don't know if she would play against women or men, whatever the case may be. Brad, you're an investment guy. First year out of college, $5 million. What can Caitlin Clark do with that?
Anything she wants.
Exactly. And then she'll still have endorsements. She can still go play in the WNBA after one season with Ice Cube, as long as she's not on a 10-year contract or whatever. If it's one season, $5 million, sign me up. And guess what? If it's 10 games, I don't know if it takes over the whole entire WNBA season. Then let's get her in the WNBA season. Let's get Caitlin Clark everywhere.
Wait a minute. You just asked the financial advisor guy what you can do with $5 million. Your advice is anything you want to do.
Because I don't know what his signing bonus was in Carolina, but all I know is whatever he made in the millions, he was still driving one car and making his wife walk around Charlotte.
I would say, Caitlin, if you got a boyfriend, you can go ahead and get you 2 cars. You don't have to just have one. And this is absolutely an F, because you know what the highest per year contract is? The highest. So Chris said what she'd make as a rookie. The highest is $250K a year for WNBA. So even if this is a 5-year deal that she has to lock into, that's still $1 million a year.
20x. That's more than 20x. 250 to 5 million.
To 5 million. Yeah, that's what is that? 4?
I think that's 20x.
Yeah, it's 20x. Good job, Ben.
Hey, thanks.
Yeah, you're smart. So are you, Kyle. So am I.
That's
why we're professors. But anyway, so she should absolutely take this money. And look, the eyes are going to be drawn to her. With all respect to the WNBA, people want to watch the stars, and she is a star. I find myself
the biggest star in the WNBA.
I can't even tell you a name.
So you'd follow Caitlin Clark as would I.
I would watch Caitlin Clark wherever she goes. Take the money.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you this. Ice Cube is a genius, an absolute genius for offering her this money. I want her to still to play in the WNBA, but she's going to break through that glass ceiling. They're about to change the whole game with this because you got her and other players coming after her who are having big names in women's basketball. Caitlin, you better take this $5 million and you tell the WNBA, I'll play for less, but I need to be the top player in the WNBA coming in right away next year.
Mm-hmm.
It's not how it works, though.
I know. So structured deals.
Well, WNBA going to have to do something. She is the biggest star in college basketball, period. If she's getting $5 million, she better go play in the Big 3 and then let the WNBA know, show me the money.
She's the biggest star in all of college basketball, including men?
Not even.
On NIL alone, I guarantee she makes
$3.1 million.
I guarantee. Yeah, she makes
3.1.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly,
makes more than that. I mean, I don't know why
she's worth it.
I don't know why she's worth for the WNBA. I would have came back for a 5th year.
Seriously.
Yeah, no, I'm telling you, she is the biggest star in college basketball.
She is. I agree with that.
She needs to take that $5 million, and the WNBA gonna need to figure something out because she's going to have to get paid to play.
They better
for
get some bigger investors into the WNBA, which is partially the NBA, if we're being honest. I think they're involved heavily.
If the Big Three can afford $5 million, the WNBA can too.
Damn right, Chris.
FYI, the biggest WNBA star is probably Diana Taurasi, who plays for the Phoenix Mercury.
She's getting old, though. Yeah.
All right, moving on.
Brianna Stewart.
Let's wrap up here with some Packers news. The Green Bay Packers have signed veteran kicker Greg Joseph to compete with incumbent Anders Carlson. Joseph, who kicked in the NFL since 2018, spent the last 3 seasons with the Minnesota Vikings. His career field goal percentage is 82.6. Both Joseph and Carlson were 7 of 13 on kicks of at least 40 yards last season. ARF, you think Joseph beats out Carlson to be the Packers kicker next season?
I'll take this one first. I think this is an F. I do not think
you are a specialist.
Yeah, I do not think he beats out Carlson. I think Goody wants Carlson to win the job. He's the guy that picked him. We know Goody has his guys and will stick with them unless completely derailed their career. So I think he just wanted competition.
I don't even know if you can say that because Amari Rodgers completely derailed games in part of their season. They still kept him.
That's true. That's true. I just think he needed the optics of competition and to push Carlson a little bit more. I think Carlson is still the kicker next year.
I'm with you. I think it's an F as well. I'm just glad they brought in some type of competition, so he has to get better. You have to be challenged. You can't go into practice not having him. I mean, you've been a punter before. You probably had somebody with
we had competition.
It pushes you a little bit,
sure
right?
Does.
Because in the back of your mind, you do know, like, I feel like I'm good. I feel like I'm solid, but I cannot take anything for granted. Last year, they made a terrible decision, allowing this guy to coast through and make mistakes and learn through his mistakes, and it cost them in the end. I'm glad they're bringing in Joseph to bring some competition, but I do expect for Anderson Carlson to be our kicker. He's going to earn his name next year.
Look, whatever the ARF is on Anders winning the job is what I'm going with because of the fact that, like, competition does make you better. So even if he makes strides of getting better but doesn't do as well as Joseph, I think they'll just be looking for growth. And if he makes growth, which there's a lot of room for growth for Anders, I mean, there just is. In preseason last year in training camp, he wasn't good. And then he started the season decent, and he started missing extra points. I think 9 of the last 10 games, he either missed an extra point or a field goal.
It was pathetic.
And it was bad. And like you said, Kyle, it ended up costing them. But Goody's doing this to bring competition, which makes everyone better. And as long as he gets better, he'll be the kicker. So I don't think they want to sign another kicker to a certain amount of dollars when you have a rookie kicker on a low contract locked in. That's it for the KBN Academy, but we do this every Thursday, and it's fun, and you have a chance to win $50. And Kyle, Brad, and I, we team up for over-under coming up next, and caller 6, you get to choose over or under based off the category that Chris Larson has put together. We team up to get 10 guesses in 3 minutes to get as many right answers as possible. If we go over that, if you choose over, then you win. But say you chose under, caller 9, you're stuck on the other side. So someone's going to win $50 here. Well, not bucks, but a gift card. 800-990-3776. That's as good as money if you ask me. 800-990-ESPN. Caller 6, caller 9, over under. Coming up next on Kyle Brust and Nortman, live from Potawatomi Casino Hotels Rockin' Brews. 800-990-3776. Caller 6, caller 9 next.
You're listening to Kyle Brust and Nortman.
We've called him Whitey Tighties. We've called him the Hall Monitor. He's Jesse Nelson. Like, he's just, hi, I'm Jesse Nelson. Kyle, you're Jesse Nelson.
On ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
You, rah. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Alex Strofe.
Varsity on Wisconsin On Demand is home to all the latest and best Badgers content on ESPN Wisconsin. Subscribe on Apple, Spotify, Wisconsin On Demand, and wherever you get your podcasts. Longtime Wisconsin State Journal columnist Jim Polzine joined Kyle Brust and Nortman on ESPN Wisconsin earlier this week and compared the current state of men's basketball coach Greg Gard to former football coach Paul Christ's hot seat and what it would take to move on from Gard.
I didn't think Chris McIntosh would fire Paul Christ, but again, something in that 2-hour conversation changed Chris McIntosh's mind, and I think it would take a similar conversation with Greg Gard probably to get him to the point where he's ready to move on and find someone new.
Find the full conversation with Jim Polzine on Wisconsin On Demand or wherever you get your podcasts.
Get no interest for up to 3 years at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Don't wait. You have to order by March 31st. Visit PellaWI.com.
Need more comfort in your life? Craving a craft meal in a warm and welcoming atmosphere? Well, enjoy the comforts of the Great Dane Pub and Brewing Company. From classics like the chicken pot pie or the pub burger to countless handcrafted beers, the Great Dane Pub has everything you need. With 4 convenient Madison area locations, downtown, Hilldale, Fitchburg, or East Madison, there's a Great Dane to satisfy your comfort cravings near you. Visit GreatDanePub.com for more information. Great Dane Pub and Brewing Company, Madison's original brew pub since 1994.
Ben Brust here to tell you about why your next work van should be from Mercedes-Benz Sprinter at Zimbrick European. First off, we have versatility. The Sprinter vans offer 16 body types and thousands of ways to customize that space. Number 2, we have reliability. Sprinter's most powerful diesel engines last longer and require less maintenance, spend more time on the road and less time in those bays. Number 3, we have safety. Sprinter's safety technologies include curtain airbags all around, load adaptive electronic stability program, and crosswind and attention assist. Number 4, Van Care Mobile. Our maintenance team can come to you with routine service. Who wants to go in? Let them come to you. They work with multiple trucks on one visit. Use the Mercedes Me Connect. And last but not least, get your Zimbrick Sprinter at Zimbrick European at Rimrock Road and the Beltline, or go online at ZimbrickEuropean.com because they never charge over the MSRP.
From color-changing Alexandrite to shimmering zircon and everything in between at Chalmers Jewelers, you'll find high-quality, affordable, one-of-a-kind pieces. We source straight from the gem cutters and we manufacture in-house from start to finish. As the manufacturer, we believe in truth in pricing. Never pay more for quality and stunning, beautiful jewelry. She's one of a kind, and so should her jewelry be. While others may send your jewelry dreams to someone else to make, with us, your dreams become reality with the help of our custom jewelers, with you involved the whole way. With a staff that has over 200 years of combined experience, why buy from a place that marks up jewelry made by the thousands? When you can buy direct from Chalmers for that one-of-a-kind piece that is better quality, often for less.
Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton
and Madison.
Since J&K Security Solutions opened in 1987, our attention to detail and customer service have been our strongest assets. I'm President Jeffrey Beckman. We'll always do our best to find the most efficient and cost-effective solution to every job we tackle. Whether it's security for your home or business, installing video surveillance, or being able to control your garage doors from your phone, we can help you feel empowered with simple and user-friendly technology. Let's work together to secure your home or business. jksecurity.com.
This is Kyle Brust and Nortman, KBN, on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
If you missed any Bucks game or you just want to relive the action, you need to check out Bucks in 6. Bucks in 6 is a podcast that's just 6 minutes, no more, no less. Bucks in 6 for the biggest plays on the court to relive the game the night before. Biggest plays on the court, comments made in the locker room after, in-depth recap of every Bucks game in just 6 minutes. It's on the Bucks Plus Radio Network. If you've missed any of the game or just want to relive the action, Bucks in 6 provides game recaps every morning after. Hear the high-flying dunks of Giannis or the deep threes from Dame, and catch comments post-game about what happened on the court. Bucks in 6 on the Bucks Plus Radio Network. Find it on bucks.com/plus or on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Let's see if we can put our heads together. Kyle Brust and Nortman across ESPN Wisconsin, live from Potawatomi Casino Hotel's Rockin' Brews. It's time for someone to win $50 gift card. Let's go to over-under.
Will the guys hit the over or will they disappoint? It's time for Over-Under on Kyle Brust and Nortman.
It is over-under, and here's how the game works. Caller 6, Nathan Stoughton, had a choice. Over-under based off Chris Larson's category and over-under. Nathan Stoughton believes in us. He's on the over. Caller 9, Jason in Madison, is on the other side, which is the under. If that's my guy Jason, the official bodyguard of Ben Brust, love you, brother. But I got to try and win this one because you know I'm competitive. Let's do this. Let's team up. Chris, what is the category in the over-under?
All right, today's category is, with the start of the baseball season opening day today, I want you guys to tell me the last 10 different Brewers opening day starting pitchers. The last 10 different Brewers opening day starting pitchers, not including this year, obviously, because they haven't played yet, number one. Number two, to be too easy. So the last 10 different Brewers opening day starting pitchers, and the over-under is set at 5.5.
Kyle, you're my guy for this one, brother.
Okay.
You got to talk to me. I mean, I know you're brainstorming.
I'm brainstorming. I'm racking my brain right now.
All right, I think Corbin was ace last year over Woody. Let's go Corbin final.
Well, first, let's start are you guys ready to start the clock?
Start the clock.
All right,
yep.
here we go. In 3, 2, 1.
Corbin final.
Corbin Burns
Yep,
was
I
the
had
Brewers
that one.
opening day starter for 2022 and the 2023 season.
Giovanni Gallardo.
Is
a good
that a
one.
final answer?
Final answer.
That's
yeah,
a good one.
Giovanni.
Giovanni Gallardo, the opening day starter for the Brewers from 2010 through 2014.
Wow, it goes back that far.
Oh, okay.
What
So
about like Ben? Would Ben Sheets be on this list?
If Ben Sheets may be on this list. We go back
Based
that far.
off of 2010, it should.
Yeah,
Ben Sheets final.
Ben Sheets, the starter for the Brewers from 2007 to 2008.
Chris Capuano, I think he may be on that list.
What about Woody? Did he?
I feel like Woody has one. for
Woody
sure.
had to have one before Corbin went from bullpen to full-time starter.
Yeah, I mean,
Let's go Brandon final.
Brandon Woodruff, the opening day starter for the Brewers from 2020 to 2021.
All right, so we're 4-4.
I have
who else
names
do you have
like,
on the list?
I have Jeff Suppan, Chris Capuano, Matt Garza.
Say because she was loud.
Jeff
Garza's
Suppan,
a good one.
Matt Garza, Chris Capuano, Zach Greinke because he was around. Because Zach Greinke was around for
we
the start
need
of the
years
season.
like 2016 to 2019.
Like I'm not even lying. I think Junior Guerra started. Like remember that?
Oh, he did. Junior
Guerra final.
I think it
good
was.
one.
Junior Garrett, the opening day starter
talking
for the
about.
How did I pull
2017
that out of my
season.
butt?
Yeah, that was a
2017
weird
season.
one.
Junior Guerra. That was a good year for them.
And we've got 07 to 08. So
How many
about
do we have? How many?
I
do we
like
need?
that.
five.
I like
Okay,
the
one
Garza.
more.
We just need one more.
One more. And we've got five guesses to
I
do
feel
it.
like Zach Greinke may be on that list. Matt Garza, Chris Capuano, and Jeff Suppan because Jeff Suppan sucked. We gave some of these guys.
He was opening day
That's
starter, but he
memorable.
sucked.
Oh my gosh! And
Let's go with Garza. Final answer. Okay. We got 4 more chances at this.
I'm trying to remember who we traded our third baseman
Did
for.
CC start one? No,
CC
he was
CC
traded. He was traded.
1 minute.
Zach Greinke might be on this list.
Zach Greinke
Because
final.
if Ben Sheets is on this, Zach Greinke should be on this list. Oh wow!
But was he a midseason addition as well?
But he played another year with us. I thought we
Maybe
got
he was
him.
injured.
So
we got 3 more to get one.
Yalisha Sino. I can't believe Junior Guerra was started so bad.
So Freddie, is this going to be Freddie's first one?
Who was the ace
Yes.
in 2018 when they made that run? Because we don't have the 2018 season, I don't believe.
30 seconds.
How many guesses do we have left?
We have 3.
Who did I say?
To get one.
You have
Yalisha
Shaseen.
Seen?
You
Yeah.
have Mac. I have Shaseen, Suppan, and Chris Capuano as my.
Give me Suppan final.
Jeff
Nice.
Suppan,
Oh.
the opening day starter in 2009.
2009
Love
was.
it.
Let's keep going.
I
Let's
mean,
keep going. Let's throw Chris Capuano on there. Dang.
All right, then give me
Boy,
Shaseen.
Yeah.
Yulisa
All right, we had it.
Shaseen,
Good
the
one.
opening day starter in 2019.
I'm not going to lie, I didn't add much to that conversation.
Oh,
Just
but you
encouragement.
You were, even though you had no answers.
Think
It was
years, guys.
It was helpful.
I moved to Wisconsin full time in 2017
That's
and didn't
good.
start following the Brewers till 19.
And that helped us.
And
that helped.
that gave us the gap
true.
because I knew Kyle's brain was childhood brain, and I've loved
It's
the
a team
Milwaukee-
effort.
I've loved watching the Milwaukee
Oh.
Brewers the last 4 years. I know people get mad and say they haven't done this, they haven't won any games, but the traitor that Kyle calls Craig Counsell is gone, and I ain't gonna lie. And we're not here for a Brewers conversation because we're coming back in 2 minutes on the other side here. I kind of love Pat Murphy's vibes right now.
Yeah,
I love the way he talks about this team. Craig is so Midwest dry, but Pat Murphy is excited about this young team.
Yep.
I think they're going to be exciting. I don't know if they're going to be the best version that we've seen with Craig Counsell's teams, but I tell you what, they're young. They're going to play fast. They're going to play different.
They're going to run on the bases a lot.
The pitching isn't what it's been,
That's the
right?
problem.
That's going to be tough. But you're talking about winning in different ways now through youth. It's the youth movement in Wisconsin. The Packers, the Brewers, except the Bucks are the oldest team in the NBA.
And real quick, too, the three that you guys didn't have was Chase Anderson in 2015.
Oh, that's one.
Willie Peralta in 2016.
Willie Peralta,
and
yes.
Kyle Loesch in 2015.
Those are all guys. Yeah, those are good ones.
I wouldn't have got Loesch.
Those good ones.
That's it for Over Under. Congrats to Nathan Stoughton, who is on the over and wins a $50 gift card. 800-990-ESPN is the ESPN Wisconsin talk and text line. And where I want to get KBN Nation involved is if Goody's done with free agency, are you satisfied? Because one guy next to me thinks he might be, and we're just going to the draft. And I think that's a little scary, but he's got his reasoning. Would you be upset if Goody's done in free agency? 800-990-3776 plus Jason Wilde at 315, Take Machine, and a whole lot more from Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Next in 2 minutes. Don't go anywhere.
Ben Brust here from Kyle Brust and Nortman and tell you about the newest spike tee on the market, and that is Hoop Tee. And when I mean that it's the newest and best, it was born on the boardwalk of Ocean City, Maryland, and enjoyed now right here in Madison, Wisconsin. With flavors like an original spike tee. You have peach, you have mango, you have watermelon. Hoop Tee will make you feeling great with whatever flavor fits your profile. Hoop Tee. Enjoy the hoops on the screen and hoops in your hand. HoopTee.com. Must be 21 years or older to enjoy.
Hey, this is former Badger Brad Nortman.
It's a fake. Great call and great execution.
You're listening to a Good Karma Brands radio station, 100.5 ESPN, WTLX, Monona, Madison.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio, this is your Metro Kia of Madison Sports Center.
Good afternoon, Madison. I'm Ryan Wollersheim, and this is your Sports Center update brought to you by ESPN Madison on YouTube. Subscribe to watch all your favorite daily shows. Mr. Irrelevant with Alex Strofe exclusively streaming every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and special featured content. Subscribe today. Watch ESPN Madison on YouTube. Well, 5 Badger basketball players have entered the transfer portal since their loss to James Madison in the NCAA tournament. First is Connor Sejian on Sunday, as well as walk-on guards Luke Huddle and Russ Candolino, both entering on Monday. But now today, star guard AJ Storr entering the transfer portal, along with star freshman center Gus Yalden. Storr initially declared for the 2024 NBA draft while maintaining his eligibility on Tuesday. Looks like he'll keep all his options open this offseason. Meanwhile, we'll not likely be seeing him back in Madison next season. But you can see the women's Wisconsin basketball team still dancing in their postseason tournament, the WNIT. They're taking on the Illinois State Redbirds in the Super 16 tonight. That game tips off at 7 p.m. from the Kohl Center. Meanwhile, the Bucks also tipping off at 7 p.m. on the road against the Pelicans. Pre-game coverage starts at 6:30 right here on 100.5 ESPN.
Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or metrokiaofmadison.com.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studios in Madison, this is Kyle Brust and Nortman, KBN. Sponsored by Bud Light on ESPN Wisconsin, ESPN Madison on YouTube, and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
With Jason Wilde joining us next here at around 3:15. We will definitely get to some Green Bay Packers conversation and continue to further that. But I'm listening to KBN Nation here, and I know Kyle's hot on it, so I want to get there. Because we got Adam in the 608. Sounds like Kyle's a real Marquette fan, but only shows it after the Badgers lose because he has to be a fake UW fan so people will like him. David chimes in.
Who are these people?
Welcome to KBN, starring Kyle No Spine Fan Wallace. Kyle, learn to stay with your team through good times and bad, and don't just strike while the iron is hot.
Can I just say?
No.
Never once did I ever say I was not a Badger fan anymore. I just said I am a bandwagon Marquette fan, and Marquette's the only team playing right now.
Exactly
so
what
I'm cheering for Marquette.
No spine is.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm gonna let you take over because I'm a write down some points of the reason why I am so frustrated with the Wisconsin Badgers athletic department.
Well, you can write down those points because news did come out that Greg Gard is confirmed by Chris McIntosh, and I believe he confirmed it in an interview with Jim Polzine, who joined us yesterday on Kyle Brust and Nortman. Was that? No, that was 2 days ago. Man, these weeks are flying, man. WisconsinOnDemand.com to hear a conversation with Jim as he brought some context, right? I don't think he brought an opinion, but I thought he brought something different than we're not making the tournament every year like we used to. Why is Gard still here? But one thing that, Brad, you had said something that struck me. In 10 years, what has he done?
And that's what struck me, right? Because when McIntosh made the declaration that Greg Gard is coming back, and he said for his 10th season, I was like, oh my goodness, has it been 10 years? Because in those 10 years, what has he done? There have been 0 memorable moments. I can't think of anything.
Crap.
I can't think of anything where I look back and I hang my hat on it and say, you know what? I was there when. That Badger team, I was proud of it. And they went deep into the playoff or signature wins. I can't think of one year or one team where I had a memorable moment.
That is
give me anything. Even reach for greatness once. We haven't had that. We haven't seen it. We for sure haven't seen it anytime recently. So basically the athletic department is saying when it comes to men's basketball, we're okay with being mediocre and irrelevant.
So in 2020, before the pandemic, they won 8 straight games when they were like 5th or 6th in the Big Ten. 8 straight games, and they won in a must-win game to win the Big Ten title at Indiana. I can tell you exactly where I was, and I'm not even you know this about me, Brad. I love Badger football as a fan more than I love Wisconsin basketball, but I'm just going to keep it real on some moments here. You talk about 2020, 8-win season, and then they were the BPI simulated national championship per ESPN.com.
Let's raise a banner. Let's raise a banner.
We should.
I
want it up there in the Nicholas Johnson practice facility. In 2022, the Badgers played Purdue, a team that everyone is looking at Matt Painter and like, oh, he's such a great coach. Well, he's been to 7 Sweet 16s in 16 years, but no Final Four. They won the Big Ten championship at home, and don't act like you don't remember Chucky Hepburn.
Ben, I'm talking about postseason memorable things that matter. Regular season is great.
Look, I get it. I'm frustrated with the postseason, but to act like the seasons as a whole it's different than football. You play the regular season for the big moment of one game, right? And for basketball, it's a longer season. It's October through March, and you only remember March. But in terms of this basketball program, and I'm going to take it away from moments for a second, because the way I look at the decision why Greg Gard is brought back, here's what we're thinking about. We're thinking about the University of Wisconsin football team is the revenue generator. You're able to buy out a contract and bring a Luke Fickell in because football drives the most revenue for the basketball program. And for those who want to say, well, Shaka Smart was brought into Marquette, well, guess what? All of their monies go towards basketball because that makes that university go. Now, I don't want to just be losing in the NCAA tournament, but when you've missed the tournament twice in 8 years and you've gone 6 of 8 times, I understand the lack of success, but that still brings revenue. The only revenue-generating sports in the University of Wisconsin are football and basketball, and Greg Gard guarantees the university revenue towards their bottom line. Whether you like that or not, that is part of the equation. He's a good coach. He's won Big Ten Coach of the Year. They've won multiple Big Ten titles, 2020, 2022, with odds against them. Is the tournament success there since 17 there? Absolutely not. It frustrates the hell out of me. 19 turnovers, unacceptable. And guess what? He has, whether people believe it or not, embraced the transfer portal. He has. There are coaches that have not. I know for a fact that Tony Bennett wants out of Virginia. Because you know why? Because it's changing. And a lot of coaches want out of college basketball. You saw Villanova, a great Jay Wright, get out of college basketball. You have somebody who's invested in Wisconsin, lived in Wisconsin, done things for the Cancer Center in raising millions of dollars. You know what you're going to get with Greg Gard as a guy. And I know this isn't all basketball, but believe it or not, this goes into the equation when it is basketball, because this isn't football, and football is king in Wisconsin, even if I don't want to admit it or not.
Before you go, Kyle, I want one quick follow-up question. So if Greg Gard would be here another 9 years and do the same exact
thing, won't
you're okay with it?
He won't.
You're just okay with this result?
I'm not, but my point is I'm fine with him coming back another year because the declaration from Chris McIntosh was made. The reason why he had to make a declaration is because there was a lot of smoke. He didn't have to do this at any other point in his career. He did it right now for Greg Gard, and that is you're on the scolding seat. Him saying we're bringing him back for the 10th year is him saying if you don't produce, you're gone. So I know you want more. and he has a chance to give you more, and if he doesn't, then you have your wish. I think what he has done in terms of being with Coach Ryan, in terms of winning Big Ten championships, and I'm mad about the lack of tournament success since 2017, I'm with that. And so I understand. If it doesn't happen this year, you got to do what you got to do. You got to bring somebody in who's going to produce what everyone wants, fair or not fair, which is to feel the happiness that Kyle's feeling fraudulently for Marquette in the Sweet 16.
Listen, to think that Greg Gard is the only coach.
Get this Bears fan out of the YouTube chat.
Like it's taking a risk by firing Greg Gard. Greg Gard is not the only good coach in college basketball, and I would say he is just slightly an above-average coach. If you are okay with being mediocre, if you are okay with being the second-best basketball program in the state, then sure, Chris McIntosh, go ahead and keep Greg Gard here. The fact that we're sitting here allowing for us not to try to aim for the best is ridiculous and beneath what Bo Ryan built and what Dick Bennett started for this program.
He's not Bo Ryan. He can never do what Bo Ryan did. I'm done with the do what Bo Ryan did crap.
We didn't ask.
You are in your brain. You know what Bo Ryan did, and I know what Bo Ryan did. And Greg Gard isn't Bo Ryan, and he won't be able to do what Bo Ryan did. And the next person, guess what? Won't be able to do what Bo Ryan did.
He
had the top
10
4 in the Big Ten, the NCAA tournament run. It is historic. It's still in the top 5 runs of all time in the NCAA tournament. So you're asking somebody to come in and do better than what a legend did, and that's garbage.
He had 10 years to show us exactly what he's got. 10 years is a lifetime in coaching. 10 years is enough time to figure out exactly what you have. And to think that just giving him next year something's going to change, that is a joke. He was on a hot seat before. I've never seen a coach be on the hot seat multiple times and barely get by, and everybody say, oh, that's okay, that's good, that's fine. I'm so sick and tired of being mediocre with the Wisconsin Badger basketball program. I'm so sick and tired of getting excited about these 4-star prospects and all these good kids that we're bringing in, only to see them not get any better as their time goes on here at Wisconsin. Wisconsin's athletics program, especially football and basketball, it was known for being able to develop players. They developed Ben Brush from a trash defender to an okay defender. They developed Jimmy Leonard from a walk-on into an NFL player.
That's not the world we live in, though. You can't use those examples.
But you have to keep chasing for that. And the Wisconsin Badgers are telling you right now.
You want to chase for walk-ons that turn into NFL players? Because that's a bad example.
No, I'm saying you just have to keep chasing for what the standard has been set for the Wisconsin Badger basketball program, and I don't need him to be Bo Ryan, but what I need him to do is I need him to be able to develop players. I need them to have a consistent season. I need them to be able to have an identity when I watch this basketball program. I know not for 4 years straight they're going to suck at shooting three-point shots. They're going to get out-toughed by James Madison, a mid-major team. This is not the basketball program you want, so this is why now is the time to find somebody else to see if they can do a better job.
And I'll just add this, and Jim Polzin even said this yesterday when we had him on, and he's kind of in the pro-guard camp, was that, look, the biggest thing that he has really no rebuttal to is there's never been any deep run. There's the early Sweet 16s.
I think he said there's never been a great team.
A great team
and
that's resulted in a great run. So, like, I understand that you're going to be a 5 seed and you're going to get upset by a 12 seed. Like, that happens. That's what makes the March Madness tournament so great. But it can't be that every year in 9 years there hasn't been one deep run. There hasn't been one elite.
You can't say 9 years because part of that
fair to take out COVID year.
But part of what Jim said as well is he deserves credit, and I will stand by this as well because I was at a game at Northwestern where Bo handed a 7-5 team and they struggled in Big Ten play, and he talked about Nigel being upset visibly and outwardly, and they turned it around that year, went to a Sweet 16. I agree, but you can't say stop. He's talking about not 9 years. That's a part of it. 2017 was a part of it. And the Big Ten championships are a part of it.
Can't live on what you did almost a decade ago.
That was chaos.
2022 was a Big Ten championship. And that is hard to do. A 20-game season in which you win in 2020 and 2022 is hard to do. It means you're beating the Purdue's, the Michigan States, all of those
It's unfortunate we couldn't see that year through, yes, but he has had the opportunity to remake the roster over and over and over again. and to use his players and his guys. Transfer portals never been easier to get new guys on your team to remake your team, and it doesn't feel like we're any closer to even being relevant.
And here's the thing: Bo Ryan was
Stop
here for
saying relevant. We got to stop with the word relevant. They were 14-6, and then they were in the Big Ten championship game. They were playing on Sunday before the selection Sunday. The word relevant is absolutely egregious for you to use.
They're no threat in the postseason.
They are. They're very inconsistent. And here's the thing: Bo Ryan was only here for 14 seasons. 14 seasons. So you mean to tell me in 5 years?
Don't use Bo Ryan.
But he was here.
He's not Bo Ryan.
He was here 14. Okay, Dick Bennett was here 5 years and did better than him. Actually, Dick Bennett only been here 4 years.
Dick Bennett never won a Big Ten title.
Dick Bennett went to
he
a
went
Final
to one
Four.
Final Four, and it was the luckiest Final Four in history. They beat Purdue by winning 32-29.
He took because they had an identity and they knew what they were, and that's the problem. We don't have an identity.
Dick Bennett for the record. He's a really, really nice person. Yeah. No, but we can't talk about 2000 and compare that to where we are.
You're a basketball guy. You tell me, what's the identity of this Wisconsin Badgers basketball team under Greg Gard? He's had 9 years to figure out an identity for a team. What is it? What would you say?
Right now, the identity, he's going to keep the team, as you won't say, he's going to keep the team relevant. They are going to be a top 25 team. They are going to be a team that's won Big Ten titles, which is, again, I understand that people don't care about that because we're living in March and you guys probably don't follow college basketball all season long, but that is hard to do, and it's not always greener on the other side. I know everyone wants to believe that there's other coaches that can come in here. There may be, but you look at Michigan, who went to a Sweet 16 3 years ago. Brad tells me in pre-show that he thinks he'd rather be Michigan. They just fired their damn coach and finished last in the Big Ten.
I'd rather be a 1 seed and make an Elite 8 run.
I'd rather be chasing
under John Beilein was their head coach.
Wait a minute.
In 2020, they were a 2021 tournament. They were a 1 seed.
I'll say this: I'd rather be chasing championships than chasing mediocrity. Michigan hired somebody. They made a mistake, and what did they do?
This goes against everything the Green Bay Packers are. If you'd rather be that because the Green Bay Packers are closer to the Wisconsin Badgers than we are in terms of you saying you'd rather go all the way down for a Sweet 16 run. That's
Green
jargon.
Bay Packers always are having an opportunity. The Wisconsin Badgers under Greg Gard have not had an opportunity to do anything inside the tournament. I would much rather finish top 4 every single year and not win a Big Ten championship, but make Sweet 16 runs and give me hope that this team could do
The whole
something.
top 4 thing is stupid.
No,
like Polzine said, there were 11 teams, 10 teams in the Big Ten when Bo Ryan was doing that. There's 14 now. The landscape of college basketball has changed. You're using arguments from a different era to go against what we are living in now. Like, that's what you do. You always use the past.
The teams they brought in are trash. Maryland was at the bottom. Rutgers was at the bottom.
Maryland's a great basketball school. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but they fired multiple coaches. They've had so many coaches.
Regardless, I'm not saying Turgeon was a great coach, and I'm not going to get into the root of it, but to act like when you went to Maryland that it wasn't a tough game, you're crazy.
You lost to
Rutgers
Michigan.
made
You
the
lost
tournament.
to Rutgers.
Rutgers had made the tournament in like 40 years, and during the last 5 years, they've made it twice. So to talk about these, like you're just mad about the Badgers, and you don't know anything else other than the fact that you're mad about the Badgers. You've made that very clear.
I feel like
and I understand if you want to say, look, you've made it clear. I get it. You want more postseason success, and I get that.
You do too.
I do too. But you're not taking anything into account other than the fact that you're whining because you're wearing a Marquette gear.
I gave him a
went
chance.
To the Sweet 16,
I gave him a chance.
That's it.
9 years. I wish I could be mediocre for 9 years and still have a radio show. Boy.
Second best basketball team in Wisconsin's beaten Marquette head-to-head 3 straight years, buddy.
But we're only
800-990-3776. Jason Wilde joins us next. I do have a lot of questions for Jason because I heard him with Homer on the Homer Hour from 5 to 6 on 94.5 ESPN. That was fun. I really enjoy doing sports radio as a job. Watching Kyle and Brad know nothing but just spew jargon. More next.
This is Kyle Brust and Nortman, KBN.
I think it's clear.
Yeah, and if Doc replicates what Booty did last year, or all I'm saying
Come on, guys. His name is Coach Bud.
If he replicates
Coach Booty.
what Coach Bud
on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
It's Chevy truck season, and there's no better time to do what you do best. No better time to get the job done in a Chevy Silverado with best-in-class standard torque and a TurboMax engine with a 5-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty that outlasts both Ford and Ram. So kick off whatever your thing is season right, because it all starts with a Chevy truck.
See your Badgerland Chevy dealer today.
Based on latest competitive data, excludes other GM vehicles, whichever comes first. See dealer for limited warranty details based on Ford and Ram 5-year, 60,000-mile warranty on gasoline engines.
From color-changing Alexandrite to shimmering zircon and everything in between at Chalmers Jewelers, you'll find high-quality, affordable, one-of-a-kind pieces. We source straight from the gem cutters, and we manufacture in-house from start to finish. As the manufacturer, we believe in truth in pricing. Never pay more for quality and stunning, beautiful jewelry. She's one of a kind, and so should her jewelry be. While others may send your jewelry dreams to someone else to make, with us, your dreams become reality with the help of our custom jewelers, with you involved the whole way. With a staff that has over 200 years of combined experience, why buy from a place that marks up jewelry made by the thousands? When you can buy direct from Chalmers for that one-of-a-kind piece that is better quality, often for less.
Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton
and Madison.
Prize Picks is America's #1 fantasy sports app with over 3 million active members. They are the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. All you do, pick more or less on a 2 to 6 player stat projection and watch the winnings roll in. Whether it's tournament season or the fight for playoff home court, there's no shortage of high-stakes basketball moments this time of year. Prize Picks even offers injury insurance so that your entries stay in play even if one of your players gets hurt. For basketball games, if you have a player who exits the game in the first half and does not return in the second, Prize Picks will have your back and not count that as a loss. Prize Picks is really simple to play. I can make my picks and submit my entry in less than 60 seconds. Prize Picks also offers weekly promotions and special offers for the biggest moments in sports. Download the app today and use code WI for a first deposit match up to $100. That's code WI on Prize Picks for a deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy.
You can't miss a moment with Greeny.
3 teams in the NFC South spent $250 million guaranteed dollars on these 3 quarterbacks who have played 28 seasons and won 3 playoff games. Kirk Cousins has been involved in more NFL games that ended in a tie than he has playoff wins. A tie happens like once every 3 NFL seasons. They have the playoffs every year.
Greeny, weekdays noon to 2 on 100.5 ESPN.
Dog, I can't remember a game that was this good.
Yeah, you know what else would be great right now? Some food from the Great Dane.
I know, but we can't go right now.
Good news! The Great Dane Pub and Brewing Company is available on DoorDash and Uber Eats. Stay in the game with the full menu delivered from the Great Dane closest to you. Downtown, Hilldale, Fitchburg, or East Madison. Order today with DoorDash and Uber Eats or on thegreatdanepub.com. Great Dane Pub and Brewing Company, Madison's original brew pub since 1994.
Join the Madison Money Guy, Christian Finfrock, for Retirement Income Strategies, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7. Get the information you need as you plan for retirement. That's Retirement Income Strategies, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7. Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Income Strategies, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
Hey, it's Hunter Vaughn. ESPN Madison and Zimbrick Honda are celebrating the area's best high school sports stories with the Game Changers of the Month. Follow ESPN Madison on social media to see teams making an impact in their community. Nominate your local team today at ESPNMadisonGameChangers.com.
This is Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, sponsored by Bud Light on ESPN Wisconsin and Wisconsin On Demand.
Tell me now, do you want it? 'Cause these dancing feet don't cry to the rhythm they cry for you. And every Saturday night that you ain't keeping
Live from Potawatomi Casino Hotel at Rock and Brews, it's Kyle, Brust, and Nortman across ESPN Wisconsin. Ben Brust alongside Packer backer, fraudulent Marquette fan Kyle Wallace. Longtime NFL punter Brad Nortman with us as well. Chris Larson running the show. Joining us now, you can hear from 9 to noon across ESPN Wisconsin. It was Jelly and GE earlier today. But I did enjoy Jason Wilde on the Homer Hour yesterday as well as on his own show. But Homer from 5 to 6 on ESPN Milwaukee. You know, Jason, I don't want to spend the whole time talking about this because I'm sure you're probably sick of talking about the rent being due with Green Bay and Lambeau Field. But I just thought you were super insightful. And for people that believe that Mark Murphy is doing this for the fans, which he's trying to claim in the media he is, I don't know. Just give me a breakdown, because you said it the best way anyone could say it, in my opinion.
Well, that's nice of you to say, Benny. Yeah, look, I don't have an issue with the idea of businesses trying to gain whatever advantages they can financially. And if this was Arthur Blank and the Falcons or Jerry Jones and the Cowboys, that would be one thing. But the Green Bay Packers purport to be owned by the community. We don't have a deep-pocketed owner, he always likes to say. We don't have a billionaire. Well, the idea of spending basically $40-some million less paying to the city of Green Bay in rents for Lambeau Field and claiming, well, look at all these improvements we've done and look at all the economic impact we have on the city and this and that. Yeah, that's great. Those are all true. But you have chosen, I mean, you are a publicly owned nonprofit entity, and the idea that you now want to try and, basically save yourself, what, a couple $1 million a year that you don't want to pay to the city, and as a taxpayer in Green Bay, if I was a Packers fan and a taxpayer in Green Bay, how would that be helping me as a Packers fan, right? So I'm disappointed that Mark Murphy has not only gone about it this way and been aggressive with a public statement now that, I think that question was, probably planted in some way at the NFL meetings. And so I just don't understand it. And my frustration is that to paint this as, there was the one quote in the Press Gazette story, we just want to get back to the bargaining table before more harm is done.
Ugh.
No one has been harmed here. Like, there's still 9 years left on the lease. And the Packers have chosen to stop the $80 million project that they have going on to improve the concourses and the concession stands. I don't think that that's hurting fans, and I definitely don't think that's hurting the city, and I found that to be an embarrassing thing to say, especially when Mark Murphy says that it also hurts us for the draft. I don't
conveniently cut out, by the way, in a lot of audio that was sent out over social media.
Yeah. So my bottom line when I was talking to Homer yesterday was, just because you can do something doesn't mean you should do something. And they are within their rights to try and negotiate this, but I just hate the fact that the mayor, who is trying to take care of more than just Packers fans in a city that was just voted the best place in America to live, but certainly has its struggles. The school district is struggling financially. There's all kinds of other issues in our fair city. So I appreciate the Packers. They are obviously a huge deal in this town. But if you want to be able to use the narrative that you're owned by the fans and owned by the community, and then you don't want to pay the community an amount of rent that they are counting on in their budget, and you are under contract for at least 9 more years, and you were the ones who started we want to negotiate, then the idea of coming out aggressively against the mayor and trying to make him seem like less of a Packers fan or a guy that now needs to be recalled, I just thought it was incredibly poor taste, and I thought Mark Murphy overstepped.
Did it go that far as talking about recall, Jason?
There were fans who responded to the social media posts saying, well, this guy obviously wants to get voted out of office, and then it's time to start a recall petition. Like,
oh gosh,
really? Like, and again, one of my frustrations is that Mark Murphy always likes to talk about how they are stewards of this organization. And this organization, look, I understand that there are people that are rubbed the wrong way by Aaron Rodgers. There are certainly issues with him that I am rubbed the wrong way on. There are people that are rubbed the wrong way by Brett Favre. Certainly there are plenty of issues there that you can feel that way about. But without the greatness of Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers, frankly, the renovated Lambeau Field doesn't get built in the 2000s. Titletown doesn't get built. None of those things happen without all the success that this organization has had. And now they are printing money at 1265 Lombardi Avenue. And the idea that you need to cut some corners with what you pay in rent to the city, I just had a real problem with it. And again, I know a lot of people listen to your show, a lot of people listen to Homer's show. If you disagree, that's fine. You feel free to disagree, but don't disagree based on I'm a Packers fan and I just want whatever the Packers want, because this is not that simple. This is not, hey, they need to sign another safety. This is a totally different non-football related thing, and I just think they've gone about it the wrong way.
Yeah, Jason, I'm glad you touched on that because, two quick observations, and I'll get to a separate question off this topic. One observation is for these executives to think like it was all their business-making decision and not wonderful product on the field that helped contribute to more of this is crazy to me. And the other thing is, I'm a finance guy, so I dove into the Packers' financial statements.
Baby.
And here you go. The rent expense for the Green Bay Packers, total rent. Now, we're not talking about the increases that are alleged being discussed. 0.2% of their total yearly expenses, and it's 0.1% of total cash on hand. Translation, pennies on the dollar, and it's a very strange battle to fight indeed. But now to go onto the field and switching gears here, we're here at Potawatomi today.
It's so good to have a guy that can both punt the football and crunch the numbers, isn't it?
It's amazing.
The more
we have a built-in
like
capologist and a risk management finance guy. It's amazing.
The more you can do. Us punters, we find a way.
You have time to do it.
I sure do.
Damn, Kyle.
So we talked the early part of the show today. We looked at some over-unders. I know you're not a betting man, but I would just love your insights on these, on what you think is the better, I want to say bet, but what you think is more likely to happen. The best play. So the Packers over-under for win total, 9.5. The New York Jets, 9.5. Detroit Lions, 10.5. Which of those do you think is the best play?
Wow. So I find that fascinating, though, because last year, what was it, 7.5?
7.5.
Going into the year? And they won 9 regular season games, but I'm amazed that they're at 9.5, especially when you think about the expectations for this team based on what it did in the second half of the season. Like, if they win fewer than 10 or 11 games, I would argue 11. If they win fewer than 11 games, people are going to be disappointed with how the regular season went.
Powerful.
Thank you.
Right?
Yeah.
Kyle.
No, absolutely. I said 9.5 was easy money.
Yeah, look, there's obviously things that can happen, right? Quarterbacks can get hurt. Players can regress. The defense can be, I don't think this is even possible, but the defense could be even worse than it was with Joe Barry in charge. There are certainly factors that come into it. I don't want to sound like, I don't know if it was Reese Davis or somebody who got into some hot water talking about
risk-free,
easy, risk-free investments. So this is definitely not a risk-free investment, but I would agree with Kyle that that seems like a number that is awfully low given the expectations that all of us, myself included, have for this team. I will be surprised. I'm not picking them to win the Super Bowl by any means. I don't think I'm quite at that level like some others might be. But I look at them as, if they're not 11-6, I will be legitimately surprised.
Wow.
Jason, down at the NFL owners meeting, the Packers publicly gushed about Jordan Love. And some people are concerned that all this gushing and public praise may actually raise the dollar amount and have them lose a little bit of leverage in negotiating. Do you think the Packers are losing leverage when they publicly speak highly of their starting quarterback in contract negotiations?
I don't think so. I think ultimately the number is going to be what the number is going to be. I will say
what do you
this.
think that is? What do you think the number is going to be, real quick?
Look, there's a guy named Joel Corey who I respect a ton. I actually dealt with him many times when he was still working as an NFL agent. He had a bunch of players the Packers had. And he works for CBS now, and he has forgotten more about negotiating than I have ever known. But he said he thought the number would come around, somewhere north of 50 to 51 million a year. Maybe that'll be the case. My issue is, regardless of how much we all think Jordan is really good, he still has basically 9 or 10 games of evidence that show what he's capable of, right? That's not the idea of paying him the same amount let's say $52 million is the number. The idea of paying him $52 million a year when he's had 9 good games to very good games, and that's the same amount that Lamar Jackson, a 2-time NFL MVP, is getting paid. If I'm the Packers, I want to try and get that number down, right? I'm going to say, look, we think you're the guy, but based on what you've accomplished, we can't put you in the Lamar Jackson class. You haven't even had the extended success that Justin Herbert has had. So we're going to come in at $47 million a year, right? And I don't know how this negotiation is going to go. Goody basically said, look, if you guys think it's going to happen right away, it's not. It's going to be a slow process. I would say that this probably happens around training camp, but I won't be surprised if he comes in lower than some of these other guys. He'll be ahead of Daniel Jones, who is $40 million a year, but even as much as I think he's a very good player, the idea of giving him the same amount of money as a guy, I don't care about the timing, as a guy who's got has 2 NFL MVP awards, I have a hard time with that. I just think that he's got more to prove before you're north of $52 million a year.
Jason, quickly before we let you go to steal a line from your show, there's still some open holes on the roster, safety, linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if the Packers are done in free agency, do you think they've done enough and feel comfortable filling the roster with the draft?
Yeah, I think they are basically done in free agency. I mean, there's some bargain guys that are out there that they could do. They could do what they did with Devondre Campbell a few years ago, and then then he'll turn on the organization shortly a year or two after that. But I think they'll still augment their roster with some inexpensive guys, kind of like what Josiah DeGuara is to the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's a nice pickup for them. It's going to cost them much, fills a role for them. So I would think that they would do some of that. But, I really think, and based on some of the things Goody said, I really think that their thought process is, look how well this worked for us on the offensive side of the ball, filling these holes with young draftees instead of, filling these holes with veteran players that cost more. I think they're going to try and do it on the defensive side of the ball. I really do. I think they really like Anthony Johnson and Benny Sapp, who were rookies last year. I think they feel like either one of those guys can maybe win that other safety job. I think they're going to draft some linebackers. I think they're going to draft some edge rushers / defensive ends. I think they're probably going to draft a corner. Look at what Carrington Valentine did. Now, the danger of that, you guys all would acknowledge, is, you hit on Carrington Valentine in the 7th round. Ron Wolf hit on Donald Driver and Mark Tauscher in the 7th round. But I can show you plenty of 7th-round picks were not very good. So that was a strike of good fortune, and you deserve credit for your scouting. But there's no guarantee that you're going to be able to do on the defensive side of the ball this year in this draft what you did on the offensive side. If you do, great. You've got a bunch of inexpensive labor and a bunch of really good players that aren't costing you much. That should give you a great opportunity to win. But that is what Goody did last year with those guys on offense. That's hard to be that good. He deserves a ton of credit for being that good, but it's hard to do that time after time after time. It's an inexact science. So I'll be very curious to see what they end up doing.
Well, maybe because he was so bad in the 3rd round for so long that he finally hit on some this past year with those 5 in the top 100. Maybe he can do it again on defense here. Jason, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, if you guys are at Rock and Brews, have you guys eaten already?
Oh,
no, we're about to place an order. Got a suggestion?
But the dessert last time.
Was out of this world.
I can't. If you like salmon, I cannot recommend enough the salmon they have at Rock and Brews, and then
these 2 yahoos just opened up the menu as you said that.
The black and Atlantic salmon. Ooh, Cajun season.
Wow. It's so, I'll tell you this. I went down for one of Maddie's ballet practices, and I went to Rock and Brews, went straight in, ordered my food, and then ate it and got back to make sure I could pick her up in time. I went there expressly for the salmon. It was that good.
Pow! Sold. I'm changing my order.
There it is. Jason Wilde, we appreciate it.
All right, fellas. Take care. Be good.
Tune into the Thanalysis Show every week. Bucks player Thanasis Antetokounmpo sits down with special guests, and if you didn't know, he sat down with Jordan Love, the quarterback of the Green Bay Packers. That's out on YouTube right now across Thanalysis socials. So make sure you check out the Thanalysis Show on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast, and subscribe to the Thanalysis Show on YouTube for special content and to watch QB1 Jordan Love sit down with Thanasis Antetokounmpo on the Thanalysis Show. More Kyle Brust and Nortman live from Potawatomi Casino Hotel next.
This is Kyle Brust and Nortman.
Ben's pretty good at impersonations.
Hey, he's pretty good.
I will give him that.
Either
I'll give
crush
him
him
that.
or suck at him.
He's pretty good at faking it.
Yeah, being a faker.
Yeah, that's
exactly what it is.
Whoa.
That's what acting is.
Why can't we come together?
Yeah,
right now?
you're very creative in faking it. Good job.
On ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Ben Brust here from Kyle Brust and Nortman and tell you about the newest spiked tee on the market, and that is Hoop Tea. And when I mean that it's the newest and best, it was born on the boardwalk of Ocean City, Maryland, and enjoyed now right here in Madison, Wisconsin. With flavors like an original spiked tea. You have peach, you have mango, you have watermelon. Hoop Tea will make you feeling great with whatever flavor fits your profile. Hoop Tea. Enjoy the hoops on the screen and hoops in your hand. HoopTea.com. Must be 21 years or older to enjoy.
You're probably being overwhelmed with information about semaglutide, the game-changing FDA-approved weight loss treatment. Jim Rutledge here. I was like you. I didn't know what it was until I saw Dr. Nestor Rodriguez at Carbon World Health. He can walk you through the benefits. He can tell you if it's right for you, and then you can come up with a plan to change your life with a workout plan and semaglutide. With that plan, I dropped from 20% body fat to 10% body fat, and I dropped over 20 pounds of fat and kept my muscle. You can do the same thing. Go see Dr. Nestor Rodriguez at Carbon World Health.
Goodman's Jewelers has been providing the sparkle to Madison since 1933. That's a lot of great memories. John Hayes for Goodman's Jewelers. We've been caring for generations of customers, and during that time our strengths have been trust, service, and selection. Those traits are who we are, and that will never change. Goodman's Jewelers, a destination worth reaching. 220 State Street, goodmansjewelers.com.
The best is at Goodman's.
Hey, it's Hunter Vaughn. ESPN Madison and Zimbrick Honda are celebrating the area's best high school sports stories with the Game Changers of the Month. Follow ESPN Madison on social media to see teams making an impact in their community. Nominate your local team today at ESPNMadisonGameChangers.com.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer. Our policy is to provide equal opportunity employment, development, and advancement to all current and potential teammates. If you are an organization that maintains a job bank, provides employment information, or gives job referrals, you may request to be placed on the station's mailing list for future career opportunities. To learn more about careers at Good Karma Brands, please email careers@goodkarmabrands.com.
I've been here for about 3 years, been a team lead since 3 months. I love the company. It's a fun place to work. It always keeps me busy every single day. Right off the bat, I told them I wanted a career here. Sure enough, after 3 months, I got promoted. You just got to make sure that you have the ambition to get there. I can one day see my kid and say, hey, look, I built that trailer. My name is Gabriel, and I am incredibly proud to be part of Stoughton Trailers.
Stoughton Trailers, big opportunity.
Join the Madison Money Guy, Christian Finfrock, for retirement income strategies Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7. Get the information you need as you plan for retirement. That's retirement income strategies Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7. Investment advisory services offer the retirement income strategies and SEC registered investment advisor.
Get the beat of the Bucks straight from a fan favorite and Bucks legend. Tap into Here District with Marcus Johnson, a Bucks Plus audio production. Your weekly pulse on the Milwaukee Bucks and conversations with the biggest names in basketball. This week, Marcus and his son Chris are joined by Turner Sports senior NBA insider Chris Haynes.
He wants this thing to work so well, talking about, with the Bucks and particularly with Giannis.
Find Your District now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, or wherever you get your podcast.
Stoughton Health, in collaboration with patient and family advisors, seeks to advance the healthcare experience at Stoughton Health by providing a forum for past patients and families to provide feedback on a variety of healthcare and other related topics. Advisors offer constructive feedback on their personal journey at Stoughton Health, helping to elevate the patient experience and increase satisfaction. Interested? Please call Amy at 608-873-2308.
This is Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, sponsored by Bud Light on ESPN Wisconsin and Wisconsin On Demand.
Kyle, Brust, and Nortman live from Potawatomi Casino Hotel across ESPN Wisconsin. And they're airing the tournament here. They have a sports book, a new temporary space located in the marketplace with 20 TVs. We're at Rockin' Brews right now with 20 TVs, and we're playing some music videos, which will flip to the games as soon as it goes live. Airing this evening through Sunday, March 31st, with specials, pretzel bites, cheeseburger rolls, wings, Oklahoma smash burger, and pizzas, and not to mention pictures of Budweiser, Bud Light, and Mick Ultra for $15. Get to you how to build a sports bet a little bit later in the show, but it is easy, it is fun, and we're making money doing so, actually. I can actually say that because we're tracking it on our sheet, and it is profitable. I got to add the bet that was made for Ben's same-game parlay last week that hit for a good amount of money for everyone except my co-hosts, Brad Nortman and Kyle Wallace.
Yeah, it's okay, though.
800-990-3776 if you want to get into the show. Jason Wilde just joined us. If you missed him, catch it on Wisconsin On Demand. He said something that was intriguing because we never got to our conversation around free agency and if the Packers were done, would you be okay with it? And Jason sort of answered it for us. He thinks they're done except for, those very low bargain players, knowing that you're going to get and be like, that guy's going to step in right away and have that slot. It's going to be competition. And he believes that the Packers are likely going to go through a philosophy of the same way they went forward offensively last year. They drafted wide receivers and tight ends to fill those spots, and those guys played right away. With an open spot at linebacker, with an open safety competition, with what I believe to be needing more depth to the defensive line. How do you feel about this? Because to me, it's a risky proposition. It's so hard to do what they did last year and hit on everything that they did in the draft. It doesn't normally work like that. And if we want to pull up drafts, we can throw the evidence out there, but last year was a hit. There's no denying it, but it's hard to do it 2 years in a row.
Well, if you could just draft your whole team and keep them on rookie contracts and have rookies and first, second year, third players, everybody would be doing it. That is a very hard proposition. You're exactly right, Ben. And I do think Jason's right. I do think they are done. There's usually the marquee wave of free agents, which is like big spending. There's the veteran bargain wave, which is like getting a guy for 1 year, $6 million, like a Bobby Wagner. Then there's the minimum contracts wave, which is what we are currently in right now, where maybe you're going to fill a guy that's 50-50 going to make the team. So I think Goody, even his comments of saying we want young guys, we want their best football ahead of them, that is him saying red light, we are going to go young, and we are going to go to the draft. So to me, I would rather have this formula for the Green Bay Packers as opposed to previous years. The Packers went out and got 2 Pro Bowl, maybe all-pro field tilters, only 2 of them, and then basically said the rest of the free agency, we're good. We're going to use the draft. I'd rather have that than just signing 5 regular dudes that they always sign. So give me the 2 marquee players that are going to jump off the screen every time and fill it in with the draft, because Goody has shown, and he is now doubling down, that he can do it through the draft. If he can do it on offense, he can do it on defense. If it's a high-risk, high-return proposition, that's exactly what Goody is proposing to do. And honestly, the high return, if he hits offense, if he hits defense in the same way he hits offense, this team might win the Super Bowl.
Doesn't it scare you, Kyle, knowing what he's done on drafting defense?
Listen, I'm not going to lie to y'all. I have complained about his draft classes. I have complained about the fact that he has not consistently put together solid enough draft classes to elevate this football team. There is a reason why special teams for the Green Bay Packers has consistently been a problem. It's because they have not been able to draft depth at positions in order to be successful. We just talked about Josiah DeGuara just leaving to go sign with the Jaguars for the minimum. And that shows you how poorly he has drafted early on in the draft. But here's the thing. Success breeds confidence. Confidence breeds arrogance. And Goody right now is in his arrogant era.
Oh, wow.
I was
not expecting that.
Well, here's the thing. He was able to have this mindset of what he wanted to do. He felt hamstrung, he felt restrained because he had Aaron Rodgers, and he understood by having Aaron Rodgers, he could not go all in on his philosophy of wanting to go young. Brad, you just talked about he wants to have guys with their best football ahead of them. Before last season, he talked about sometimes going young can be a benefit. That is exactly what his philosophy is. He has shown it through his drafting. He has shown it through the fact that the oldest player on the team is 31 years old, and after that, everybody is 28 or younger, and this team is going to probably have a younger average age than what it did last year when they were
going to break their own record if they make the playoffs.
When they were the youngest team to make the playoffs since 1970. So basically, Goody is letting y'all know that his philosophy is to go young, and I'm okay with it. You know why I'm okay with it? It's because last season when he had an opportunity to really do it his way worked. It absolutely worked. And he's had enough draft classes to evaluate the way he wanted to go about drafting, and he drafted guys that had good numbers in college. He drafted guys that found success in college, but also he drafted guys that came from, some pretty solid colleges that ended up translating to play some good football for us. So I am all in on drafting defensively because I think Goody has figured it out.
800-990-3776. Do you trust Goody to fill the roster out on defense with defensive players in the draft? I am skeptical. It's hard for me to get behind it knowing the last 3 first-round picks that he's had, maybe even the last 4, considering there was 2 in the 2022 NFL draft with Quay Walker and Devontae Wyatt. Is our guy in Green Bay still on hold? I can't see the phone lines, Chris. If he is, I want to get to him on the other side. Let me know.
He is, definitely, yes.
All right, well, we'll get to KBN Nation on the other side, plus hear from Jordan Love on the Finalysis show, live from Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Next.
This is Kyle Brust and Nortman, KBN.
You should be happy Pac-Man Jones has had this on his headphones, or he definitely would have pulled it up on you.
I think Pac-Man's lucky I didn't have this on my headphones.
Oh, you right.
I would have been. Right. I'm really feeling swaggy and confident.
You say, yeah, you're in my space. Oh, what you gonna do?
Because even just hearing the song, like, for those who on the YouTube, they can see I'm bobbing my head right now. Like, this is like, okay.
Go ahead, say ski.
Ski.
On ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Hey. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Alex Strofe.
Varsity on Wisconsin On Demand is home to all the latest and best Badgers content on ESPN Wisconsin. Subscribe on Apple, Spotify, Wisconsin On Demand, and wherever you get your podcasts. Longtime Wisconsin State Journal columnist Jim Polzin joined Kyle Brust and Nortman on ESPN Wisconsin earlier this week and compared the current state of men's basketball coach Greg Gard to former football coach Paul Christ's hot seat and what it would take to move on from Gard.
I didn't think Chris McIntosh would fire Paul Christ, but again, something in that 2-hour conversation changed Chris McIntosh's mind, and I think it would take a similar conversation with Greg Gard probably to get him to the point where he's ready to move on and find someone new.
Find the full conversation with Jim Polzin on Wisconsin On Demand or wherever you get your podcasts.
Get no interest for up to 3 years at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Don't wait. You have to order by March 31st. Visit PellaWI.com.
Hey, Drew Scott here, and I'm Jonathan Scott, reminding you that life's better with a home policy from American Family Insurance. They can help you get just the right protection at just the right price and help you save when you bundle home and auto. Kind of like Goldilocks and the Three Bears. It'll be just right for you. We love a custom build. American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Ben Brust here to tell you about why your next work van should be from Mercedes-Benz Sprinter at Zimbrick European. First off, we have versatility. The Sprinter vans offer 16 body types and thousands of ways to customize that space. Number 2, we have reliability. Sprinter's most powerful diesel engines last longer and require less maintenance, spend more time on the road and less time in those bays. Number 3, we have safety. Sprinter's safety technologies include curtain airbags all around, load adaptive electronic stability program, and crosswind and attention assist. Number 4, Van Care Mobile. Our maintenance team can come to you with routine service. Who wants to go in? Let them come to you. They work with multiple trucks on one visit. Use the Mercedes Me Connect. And last but not least, get your Zimbrick Sprinter at Zimbrick European at Rimrock Road and the Beltline, or go online at ZimbrickEuropean.com because they never charge over the MSRP.
Greg Scalzo here for Buck and Honeys. Congratulations to the perennial Best of Madison Award winner by the folks at Madison Magazine. Meet me at Buck and Honeys to celebrate Wisconsin hospitality. Whether you're enjoying the view on the Yahara River in Monona, exploring Wanakee, visiting the OG in Sun Prairie, or checking out the new location in Mount Horeb, you can enjoy the Buck and Honeys experience in a neighborhood near you. Serving lunch and dinner 7 days a week with brunch every Saturday and Sunday. I'll see you at Buck and Honeys.
ESPN Wisconsin's Mark Toscher here for my friends at Kohler Services. If you need a bath or shower remodel, turn to Kohler Services. Family owned for 150 years. Kohler is your Wisconsin manufacturer providing care for life. This month only, get $1,000 off your Luckstone shower and pay nothing until 2025. Visit KohlerServicesWI.com to request your free quote with fast, professional installation always included. Again, that's KohlerServicesWI.com.
It's official. 2023 was the biggest jackpot year on record at Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison. Check out these totals. We had over 57,000 jackpots and more than $134 million in winnings. This shatters our previous record year, and we have no intention of stopping here. And with our 95% average payout, we continue to be the official home of the big win right here in Madison. Let's keep it going in 2024 with even more jackpots at Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison.
You're listening to Kyle Brust and Nortman on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
We are Kyle Brust and Nortman across ESPN Wisconsin, live from Potawatomi Casino Hotel's Rock and Brews. 20 TVs here. Get ready to watch tourney action. 800-990-3776. There is one team locally in the tourney, and unfortunately I have to say it's Marquette.
We are!
We are the home of the Golden Eagles here on 94.5 ESPN, so it will be a fun day of content with the Brewers actually getting to play opening day tomorrow. Marquette tip at 6:09. We'll be at the 3rd Street Market Hall tomorrow, and Marquette College game day. Homer will be on the call. So a fun day today, tomorrow, and the weekend of sports. I love this time of year. I do. Again, we had a lengthy but I think spirited and insightful conversation around the Badgers and Coach Greg Gard coming back next year. Let's go to Eric in Green Bay, 800-990-3776. Thanks for holding. What do you got for us on Kyle Brust and Nortman?
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Doing fantastic. About to win some money after this.
There you go. So, as a Badger alum and lifetime fan, obviously still kind of licking my wounds with games starting back up tonight and kind of the way the tournament went this year. But as unhappy as I am with Greg Gard right now, and you're obviously hearing a lot of the fire Gard wave picking up, I think timing is everything, and there's 8 million reasons right now why he's going to have a job next year. I think his buyout for, if he were to get fired at this point, is $8 million, then it goes down to $4 million after next year. So I think first and foremost, that's probably the biggest reason why you keep him. That's obviously a pretty hefty buyout to pay out. The second thing is, too, again, timing being everything. I don't know right now if Greg Gard was fired today or if he had a meeting with Mac and they mutually decided to part ways, who are you going with for next year? Because a lot of the up-and-coming coaches right now have already been plucked, and that happened last week.
Yeah, it's an interesting point that you made from a buyout standpoint, Eric. And just to confirm conversations around here, Chris McIntosh did sit down with Greg Gard, and he did confirm that he'll be back for his 10th season to Madison.com's Jim Polzine. I think Greg Gard makes around $3 million annually. So I'm not going to lie. The buyout number doesn't scare me as much because he'd make $3 million this year. They buy out for $4 million next year. So, I mean, it's like really a $2 million difference because it'd be 3 and then 4. I guess it'd be like a $1 million difference. Or, $2 million if they got rid of him this year. But he's coming back. And I think at this point right now, he's coming back. He knows it's do or die. And you know what you get in terms of competition or when your back's against the wall? You're going to get the final push. And I think I'm done wasting my breath in terms of arguing as to why not even that he should be back, but like it is what it is at this point. I'm upset with the lack of tournament success. I do believe he's been a good coach for the Badgers. Obviously not great from a tournament standpoint since it hasn't been a second weekend since 2017. But I've come to terms with it. And a lot of this has to do with what we talked about from a football is king, and a little bit to do with why would they buy out a contract with a guy that has kept them relevant. He hasn't won in the tournament, but they've won 2 Big Ten titles. And I'll be honest, that is probably his saving grace in these conversations. Yeah, and when I say 2 Big Ten titles, 2020 and 2022.
Yeah, I'm not rooting for Greg Gard to get fired. Nobody wants to see him do well and have success more than me and more than the show. But, I'm okay with the Badgers needing to take their time and make sure that they have somebody else in mind if they were to go that way. You should never quit your job without having a backup plan, and this is sort of the same thing. So at some point, you need to have a plan. If the Badgers don't have a plan, I'm okay with them holding with Gard, rolling the dice this year and seeing how things go, but doing your homework this year in case that the success does not come to fruition.
Well, I'm going to let Kyle tease us to the 414 because apparently, I'll do it.
Okay, I'm going to say.
He wrote something on the paper. He's got a question after the break on Gard.
Yeah, I didn't want to talk while Brad was talking, but I have a question.
So Kyle's got a question. He leads the 414 hour at 4 on ESPN Milwaukee's YouTube and right here on 94.5 ESPN. Coming up next, Rutledge and Hamilton. I think it's Strofe and Molly Brown. They'll have fun. See you in 2 minutes.
With me, oh yeah, sell out. Ben Brust here from Kyle Brust and Nortman and tell you about the newest spike tee on the market, and that is Hoop Tee. And when I mean that it's the newest and best, it was born on the boardwalk